Because that's where we usually have problem with some of these journalists being an analyst on TV in Nigeria. You heard him clearly. He said it. He said their Muslim tickets is basically about Islamic dominance. They will dominate Kaduna State. Muslim will rule Kaduna State for more than 20 years, for the next 20 years uninterrupted. And similarly in Nigeria, Muslims will rule Nigeria for the next 20 years uninterrupted. It was on his high horse then. It was a godfather that just succeeded in installing his own friend, rigged his friend in as governor, all right? And at the same time, like he said, he deceived the Christians in northern Nigeria by telling them that a Muslim ticket wasn't about Islam. Unfortunately, when the power now got into the hands of Tinubu, again, the whole story, the whole narrative changed. Rufire became internally displaced politician, IDP. And since then, it's been moving everywhere, talking about how they want to rescue Nigeria, and on and on and on. The other day, he was seen with Bokwari in Daura. He wasn't in Daura. He was actually in Kaduna. Bokwari is now staying in Kaduna. And that's where majority of them now go to see him. El Rufire, he was also saying with Aregbe Mubana Baba Kabiru. I don't know where that one lives, but it's been everywhere. In the last few days, well, in the last few weeks, he was also seen with, this fake pastor. What is his name again? Bakaru. All right? So he's been going everywhere trying to make himself look like an elder statesman. You know, that's what they call themselves, an elder statesman. I'm an elder statesman. You know? So they need, what somebody said was that, in fact, before I even got to that, before I get to that, right? Reactions have been like trailing that. A lot of people have been reacting and all that, including the Afro Senator, the Resistor Radio Senator, Sheu Sani, I think. Talking about Rufire to Sani, Rufire has misfired. What happened is that the terrorist sympathizer, financier, Rufire of Kaduna, a genocidist, the man behind the mass burial, or as a cover-up, the mass burial of the Shiites when 1,420-something people were slaughtered by Buratai the butcher. You know, you remember that story, right? In Zaria. So, to Sheu Sani, Rufire is as useless as that last tissue paper you used in your toilet. You can't even remember what it looks like, do you? Can you remember what your last used tissue paper looked like? Said is somebody who think is so smart, corny, and can get, it can get under the unsuspecting people's, under them enough that they will not even notice of how much of evil and useless he is. Remember, it was the same El Rufire that retired the Afro Senator, among those that benefited from the wave of the APC chain of 2015. So from Kaduna, so El Rufire dealt with his own party members who were supposed to be of the same party and ensured that those ones who disagreed with him, their political career ended with him at the time. Here is one of them talking about El Rufire, the Afro Senator.
Presented Kaduna Central, Senator Sheu Sani. He joins us from our Abuja studios. Senator, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
There's a lot to unpack with you on the program, from politics and every other issue. But let's begin from the latest. I know, and everyone who follows you know exactly that perhaps you and the former governor of Kaduna State had not been in the very best of terms politically in the last few years, but you were friends before now. Now that is defected from the All Progressives Congress, a party he was very critical at forming a merger and playing a critical role in the president's emergence as the president of Nigeria, given the fact that he played a role in his emergence as a candidate of the party. How does this come to you? Because now you're a member of the APC, so you have a stake on the table.
Thank you for having me in this your program. Well, first of all, for those of us from Kaduna State, it is a good riddance because he stands as a liability to the party in the state. And I can back this with facts. In 2015, APC had 2 senators. By 2023, all the senatorial zones were taken over by PDP. And out of the 14 House of Representatives seats in Kaduna State, under Nasiru, by the time he left, almost 9 of the seats were won by PDP, 2 by Labour Party, and then 3 by APC. And with him as a governor, the APC also lost the presidential election in Kaduna State, with Aswaju Ahmed Bola to be pulling 399,273 votes and Atiku pulling about 554,360 votes. So you can see that by the time he left, already the party was an unpopular platform in the state. So his exit now is an opportunity for the governor and party leaders of the state to embrace the people of the state and to reconfigure and reset the party towards the next election. That is on one side. And it is said by Shakespeare that the evil that men do lives after them. Nasiru evicted so many people out of the party on the basis that he is the alpha and omega of everything. Today, all that he has done has returned back to him. I think in the past, people say they should wait for a day of judgment, but it is dramatic nowadays that things happen within a jiffy. This was a man who evicted us out of the party and was proud to have said he has sent us to the forest. And today, the Lord has evicted him to the wilderness. He is into political oblivion. What he did to us is what has happened to him without our own influence. And so I can say that for anybody who is from outside of Kaduna State, you can make your own judgment and make your own comment. We have 23 local governments in the state. The governor of the state, even who Nasiru both campaigned for and also campaigned against, because he was double-faced, won the governorship with a close margin of 11,000 votes. So it is now that since he is out of the party, that the governor can reach out to political forces, alliances, individuals, groups, allegiances, and see how he can mobilize support for the party. And
Senator,
most of the people who went out of the party, who were forced out of the party when he was a governor, have now returned to the party. So it is something of celebration to those of us from Kaduna State, that someone who has become a thought, so he can win in other parts of the country and then lose his own. But this is a person who can't even deliver his own state to the governor and to the president. And let us even go by the facts on the ground. You know the situation we were faced with in Kaduna State from 2015 to 2023. A section of the state was marginalized. People were pushed out of their jobs. Homes were demolished. The man that you're talking of has no respect for court orders, and several things that happened, which made the party lost. Yes, he campaigned for Ubasani, but we have it on record, where in one way he's telling the people of the state to vote for Ubasani, and in another way he is cautioning them against voting for him. All these things here, we live in an internet age. The voices are there, the audios, the videos are all there. So he had a divided mind over even the person that he brought. And I'm saying it repeatedly, that Ubasani did not win election because of Nasru, but he lost votes because of Nasru. That's a fact of the ground. Well, for the fact that he was a member and a founding member of the APC in the state, in the whole country, and now he was out of it, that was what he did to us. We are founding members of the APC, at least in our own state. He was so fanatical about Buhari. Any person who criticized the APC became to him like a religion. But today he is out of it. And if you can remember, I was in the Senate from 2015 to 2019. Whatever I say about APC, whatever I said about the leadership of Buhari, he is up against me. And today, look at the table. When we tell them that power is temporary, power is ephemeral, power is superficial. If you are in power today, tomorrow you'll be out of power. People can forget that you are in power, but they will never forget how you treated them while in power. If you happen to be in a position of authority, know that there will be tomorrow. And the life you will spend outside of power will be longer than the one you spend in power. They were in power, they were intoxicated with power. They speak with authority, with audacity, with arrogance, and think that there will be no tomorrow. Tomorrow has come. He is displaced. He said in the past that we have gone into oblivion. Today we are back to our homes, and he has gone to oblivion. He sent us to the forest, and today he's in the wilderness. That is how it works. Whoever have found himself in a position of authority or power should know that there will be tomorrow. And tomorrow has come. All the people he sent out of the party are now back to the party, and the party whom he prided himself to have established or founded is out of it. I said it repeatedly that take caution. Power is not something you should misuse and abuse, and this is exactly what it is. He's back to his trenches. And we need an opposition in the country, there's no doubt. If you don't have opposition, the government sleeps, and then we head to a tyranny. But not a coalition of disgruntled elements with someone who felt entitled. If Aswaju has appointed Nasru a minister, all these criticisms, all these attacks, all these things here that he's saying will never happen. He will be the most fanatical, the most vocal, the most vehement in terms of attacking any person who said anything against the government. But the fact that he fell security screening is out of.
He's right. So if El Rufire had been given ministerial appointments like Wike, El Rufire would be the one attacking everybody. In fact, it would have a lot to say. There are people are coming together. They want to form coalition to remove Tinubu. El Rufire will have a lot to say. Now let's talk about this coalition. The coalition of, or the coming together of strange bedfellows, criminals. There is something. There is this gray sort of, a ray of light, which is that of Peter Obi and his obedience. It is established that there is no coalition talk, all of it, that does not have a plan of Peter Obi being part of it, because they need a face that will likely make the rest of you ignore the caliber or character of criminals coming together to claim to wanting to save you. And others are like, what role would Peter Obi play in all of this? They're going to probably use him as a mask, push him to the front so that, they can hide behind him in order for them to come back to political relevance. Or, like he said the last time in one of his interviews, when he said, that will be determined by people, which is they will determine that. They can say, well, we gave the Southern Nigeria, that's what he said we gave the Southern Nigeria the chance to present the president of Nigeria, and they gave Nigeria Tinubu. And this is what Tinubu has done. So now it is going to be a free for all, which means another northerner can actually really take over and, take advantage of this whatever coalition they are putting together. And as long as they can remove Tinubu. And that northerner, the only northerner that qualifies in this regard is going to be Atiku. But others are saying that no. The plan is to actually push Peter Obi. The idea of, El Rufire's son praising Peter Obi is not coincidence as well. Okay? It is simply an idea that, okay, if by 2027, if you make it that far, okay, and the intention of the plan is to remove Tinubu, of course. So if you remove Tinubu, the idea, so if you want to remove Tinubu, the best way to do it is to probably push a southerner or a southeasterner. This is where Peter Obi comes in. So with the arrangement that Peter Obi, you are going to only serve for 4 years, one term, and then the power will come back to the north. How do you now shape that? This is like political projection now. To those of you who don't understand politics very well, pay attention. This is how they do it. Disgruntled is the word. Disgruntled that he's been denied a seat at the table. And he has so much like a pound of flesh, to actually to take back. He has become an internally displaced politician from his own state, is almost as useless, even though he continues to say, don't worry, we'll find out who is useless or who is not in 2027. But he's politically useless for real, okay? So coming back to that relevance, in this kind of permutation, their own idea is if we can bring all this big weight from here, big weight from there, and then give it some level of credibility like they did with Bukwari when bunch of looters, treasury looters, kidnappers, right? Human traffickers and murderers, right? Coup plotters and the rest of them merged together that they wanted to save you from Nebuchadnezzar, Egberejolantan, remember? So they had to use this Bukwari as the mask, while the rest of them camped behind him. So it's the same technique they are planning, to deploy. But the point here is that if he had been given a seat at the table, he would never, for any reason, right, be yearning for the removal of Tinubu. So it's a two-way thing, okay? They need Peter Obi. A Peter Obi which is obedient, right, will give credibility to whatever it is that they come up with in order to face a call the druggie. All right. So they said it is either is it going to be Atiku Obi? Obi will be presidential candidate. Atiku will be the vice presidential candidate. Nah, Atiku is too big for that. No, it can't be. So Obi will be vice. Atiku will be no. That was maybe we should just go for Obi and El Rufire. So Obi president, El Rufire vice. So that the agreement will be that Peter Obi will use one term, 4 years. Okay, and then El Rufire will become your president. Now I know you are laughing there, like, is that going to be? That's how they do political permutation, my friend. This, you see, once they put the permutations together, the next stage is now going to be how to further help destroy Nigeria. So all the things you have known about Tinubu, that they have tried to sort of gaslight you to shut up, they are going to have to bring them out now. And I'm talking about including, just like, it's going to be like, just like what they did to Egberejolantan. It was too late for that one. Others are saying, no, Tinubu is not Jolantan. If you are a Yoruba person, there is this Oshupa song, you know. Ikú tó pa ládìyẹ ṣó gbọ́dọ̀ tún pè léwúrẹ́. Ikú tó pa ládìyẹ kò gbọ́dọ̀ tún pè léwúrẹ́. So I'll probably just give you an interpretation of that. So there's this song, right? It's a story, but kind of like made it into a song.